Hey, Cynthia, Loren, what's good? So I'm here to talk about how can you live the life of your dream. Simply by trusting the universe. You got to trust the universe. Trust the process. Trust the universe. What do I mean by that? Is when you are so untrusting of the process and you only focus on the result, what ended up happening is that you create a lot of resistance. And when you create a lot of resistance, it's like putting a space between where you are and the stuff you want. There's a space in between, and that's the resistance. Think about a helium balloon. If you put your hand on top of the helium balloon, it can't rise, right? All you have to do is remove that hand, remove that obstacle, remove that resistance, and the balloon will just rise on its own. It will just do it. You don't have to do much because it's attracting to up there, because it's supposed to float up there. Think about it that way. You're supposed to be living the life of your dream. We're infinite beings, that we didn't have a body before, spiritual beings, and we decided to do this human journey, and we need a body for it because we want to experience what this body can do with the mind. And this is a finely tuned machine. This is just an avatar. And people identify with their body a lot. That's why in yoga we always say we are the soul, not the body. We have a body. We have it. Just like we have a mind. The mind doesn't have us. We have the mind. The way it's supposed to go is we're supposed to tell the mind what to do, and the mind generates an idea through the ego, and the ego generates a desire. So it points it that way, like, hey, you like red color, go get some red shirt. And the way it goes is supposed to be you're supposed to transform it into intention. I am going to get that red shirt. Versus, does the red shirt look good on me? Would people think I'm weird if I wear a red shirt? I normally wear a white shirt if it's like The Witcher. So the ego takes over. So the thing is, if you don't take control of your life will take control of you. That's how it works. That's the energy dynamic. If somebody is not stepping out to be, I am the leader, somebody else would. Right? So the thing about going at this is you got to trust the universe and trust the process that it will work. Your mindset is everything. Change your inner reality, your outside reality will reflect exactly that. I always talk about the roommate situation. As two person, same environment, living in the same place. You ask them about the place, two different story. You ask the first roommate, what do you think about your place? She goes like, oh, the place is really cozy. It's beautiful. I love the fridge. TV is big. I play my video games on it. I love the guy that showers and sings in the morning. He sings all my favorite Broadway shows. And when I look outside, I can hear and see the children playing in the playground because there's a school right in front of it. You ask the second roommate are like, well, I hate the guy singing in the morning, always wakes me up. And I don't like the big fridge because I have to clean it and it's like such a big fuss. And I hate the big television because it sucks so much electricity and I don't make enough. You see, it's the same environment, but it's a different perspective. So they're experiencing different reality on a different timeline. The space could be the same, but the timeline is different. Each of them are experiencing something different. So change your inner reality, your outer reality will change. But you must trust the process. You can't keep doing something and then on the back of your head is like, is it going to work out? I don't know, is it going to work out? Is it going to work out? I don't know. Just have an intention, have a desire, turn it into an intention, I'm intending to do this, and back it up with some actions. You don't have to focus so much on the action, but you do have to do some action. Let's say you wanted to paint, right? So you have a desire, you want to be an artist. But you do need to actually get the canvas and get the paint and paint every day. You don't have to paint like 12, 24 hours a day, but you do have to do a little bit of action every day. And eventually the art will be done, and then eventually it'll go into an art show, eventually people will buy it, but you don't think about that future stuff. It will happen, it would just happen, because it's the natural process. It's just the natural progress in the process. Think about it. When we were kids, right? No, when you get little puppies, they will just grow up. You don't have to nudge them to tell them to grow up. They will just get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it becomes a full-grown dog. You don't need to keep nudging the dog, the puppy, to be like, are you gonna grow? Oh my gosh, you're not growing today. Are you gonna grow? And then tomorrow you look at your pup and you're like, hey, you're not growing today. You're not a full-size pup yet. Think about it that way. It will eventually grow into the size that it's supposed to go. But you must trust the process. Trust it. With that being said, trust the process, trust that it's going to get delivered to you, but again, you must put a little bit in action. Speaking from experience, when I realized everything is about alignment, the law of attraction is about attracting abundance, that's one aspect of it. When you have a desire, back it with action, and then just expect the result will come. Just expect it, and don't think about it. But the way I went about it was the old school way of doing the law of attraction, which was having a red hot desire, like I really, really want something, and back it up with a bunch of action. I did see a lot of results because when you back it up with action, you're moving energy, the momentum is going. So you are setting things in motion. But what ended up happening is that it also created a lot of resistance, because when things weren't going my way, I didn't know about all these trusting the universe and all that stuff, and trusting the process and being in the moment. So it's like, well, this is not happening as I want it right now. So I ended up creating a lot of resistance, and I ended up just getting really frustrated and angry. And then when you do that, you create more resistance, because now your mind is focused on anger, frustration, which is the lower vibration towards fear. In Dr. Hawking's chart, it's called the scale of consciousness. So there's two spectrum. On the top spectrum is love, and on the bottom spectrum is fear. It just goes this way. So it's like shame, fear, guilt, anger, and then you get like courage, willingness, neutrality. Then you get love, joy, peace, enlightenment, and then it goes like that. So you see there's different steps to it. So anger, you would have to say that it is raising your vibration if you are in the lower vibrations, such as shame, fear, and guilt. Because when you're in shame, fear, and guilt, what is happening is that you don't have that self-worth. You don't think you're worth it. So you won't get angry if you don't think you're worth it. But once you get to the vibration of anger, you're like, hey, stop that. I am worth it. You stop what you're doing and I'm going to do me, or something like that, right? So that raises it. But once you get to anger, you do need to keep raising your vibration until you get to neutrality. Once you get to neutrality, it's a game changer. Because now you're not really react to many things, and many things don't disturb you. So you can really focus, right? So how do you get to neutrality? Meditation. Meditation is the key. If you look at a lot of positive motivator, a lot of spirituality technique, and a lot of self-help and all that enlightenment stuff, many of them would have something quite like meditation, where you sit, you breathe, close your eyes, observe your thought, and be still. When you do that, you hone your energy and you clear up everything that doesn't serve you. In a way, you're helping your brain sort out things that is not needed, because now you're seeing it in a point of view of a bystander. So you're not really involved in it. When you're involved in something, you're in reactive mode. But when you step out and you're just watching it like an observer, you're observing it. You're not really involved. And if you're not really involved, you're not taking it personally. That's what it does. And once you get there, you sort out your thoughts, then you can really focus on your goal. So trust the universe that it will bring it to you. If you have the right intention, the intention is not people pleasing, or I'm doing this because I want somebody to like me. The pure intention, what that means is you have something that you want, which is your desire, and you turn it into intention. So this is what I intend to do. I intend to draw or paint, and because that's something that I'm really passionate, and not because I want to draw or paint so I can get famous and then people would love me and then I no longer have to be alone. See, when you do that, you're still basing your reality on the outside and what other people are going to say. You must not care about what other people says. It doesn't matter what they say. You are supposed to do your own unique journey. Possibility is they don't know what they want. It's like blind leading the blind. They don't know what they want, and you ask them. Most of the time, even if you ask somebody, right, where do you want to eat? Seldom do you get an answer like, oh, solid answer like, I want to eat at so-and-so place. It's always like, I don't know, well, maybe this, maybe that. So it's very fidgety. So don't base your reality on other people, because everybody experiences differently. When you base your reality on other people and your beliefs on other people, will they like it or not? It's like you're writing your storybook and you're supposed to write your point of view and what you want to experience in this storybook where it's blank, and you're filling out the storyline. Instead of putting yourself as the main character of this narrative, you're putting other people in it. Meanwhile, they're writing their own story, so they really don't like to split their attention to be in your story too. So do you get what I'm saying? People won't like it. If you make them the main character of your story, they won't like it. Because in a way, you're sucking their energy too. You're supposed to focus on your journey. So techniques that I have done that turned my life all together. I was a people pleaser before, where I'm like, oh my gosh, would so-and-so like it if I do this? Would people like it? And it would determine my action. So what it is focus on yourself. Know that you need to constantly expand. Some form of action has to happen. You know, we didn't come to this earth to have a human experience and just sit. And then people ask me, they're like, oh, you know, how about those sages? They don't just sit. Let's say Yogananda, he traveled the world. He was spreading the news of yoga. He had a mission, he had a vision, and he was doing it. Ever since he was young, he knew the spirituality is the path he wants to go. And he was looking for gurus, he was interviewing different people, he was talking to different people about their experience, so he can find a guru. A guru is, think about a teacher. You know, you want to learn from somebody, so you have a teacher to guide you there, like a guide. And he was looking for all those stuff, and he did it. And once he did it, he decided he no longer needs this body, so he ascended. He wasn't sick or anything. He just decided that this human experience was done, so he left. So miraculous thing can happen if you really believe in your vision. It will happen. And keep expanding yourself. Keep expanding it and not depend on what other people say. Change your belief, change the story you tell yourself. Have positive self-talk. A lot of people have negative self-talk. So what ended up happening, a repeated thought gets stored into the shortcut of thinking file, which is your subconscious. It's a shortcut to thinking. So let's say you're walking into traffic, right? A bus is coming. The light is still green, so you're supposed to walk. But when you see the bus, you naturally jump back. You won't keep walking because reasoning would say, well, it's still a green light. I can technically walk because I'm supposed to walk while the green light is on. But your subconscious steps in and is like, no, because the repeated thought, the information I'm keep getting is, if there's a big car coming, no matter what happens, we jump back. See, it's supposed to make it easier. It's supposed to be a shortcut. Think about on your computer. Let's say you always use this program, right? And normally you have to click on this PC and then you have to choose programs and everything. But instead, you made a shortcut on your desktop. So every time when you go in, it's on your desktop. You don't need to sort through the files. Think about the subconscious as being the shortcut of thinking. So what do you want to put in your shortcut? That is where the autopilot comes from too. When we were born, we were clear, right? Because we went through a veil of forgetfulness is a process where the infinite being, the seer, the inner self, when we chose to have a body, we decided that it would be more fun to not have any of the memories and start fresh all over again. That's the thing, we start fresh. We chose this. We start fresh. And then, you know, throughout the years, we got something called starter data. I'm writing about this too in my book. It's called starter data. Is when people give you ideas and beliefs because your brain isn't developed yet, so they're giving you something to start with. Unfortunately, a lot of things that is in the starter data is programmed us to be like fearful, shameful, guilty, and all that stuff, which is in the lower vibration. And I truly believe that is on purpose. because this life is a leveling up game. You gotta level up, and it's kind of fun to raise your vibration too. Because now you realize, oh, by doing this is this, by doing this is this, and you get excited about life because every moment is a new moment that you can just shift into. Imagine if it's like you know everything already, and you're already enlightened, you know what this is, and it's like, you know this is a virtual reality, it's no fun. Just like playing a video game. When you play a video game, there's a television in front of you, and when you look into television, you can see the remote, you can see your family, you can see the bed, you can see the wall. The game is still fun, but you're not 100% immersed in it. It's always like I'm kind of like 1 foot out of the game and 1 foot in the game, right? But once you put on those headgear and in the virtual reality, you actually feel like you're in it, but you can still feel the outside, and you still kind of like consciously or subconsciously, you still know there is an outside, and you have this headpiece on. See, it's not that fun. Imagine living 100 years thinking, like feeling this way. It's not that fun. So this world is basically a game platform, and we are the person who's controlling it, our inner being, and this is the avatar. That's why you can always change your personality anytime you want. You don't like it, change it. Personality is personal reality. So if you want to change your reality, you want to change your, you want to live the life of your dream, you've got to have some change. Always step out of the comfort zone and expand that. And with that being said, always meditate, always expand yourself. Don't put yourself into a box. Don't build the box to begin with. But a lot of people were starting when they were young and everything, people built a box for them. And they never really opened the top and see that there's the outside, so they feel stifled. A lot of people, we're not just meant to go to work, eat, sleep, procreate, go to work, eat, sleep, procreate, go to work. That's not supposed to be. That's why people feel so stagnated and like, oh my gosh, when is this over? And some people get depressed because the inner self is not happy. So with that being said, change your belief, change the narrative you tell yourself, put yourself as the main character of your movie, keep on expanding. Namaste, and these are the stuff that I did for myself, and it changed my life, and it'll change yours too.